Thanks again for inviting me to join. I am proud to be talking about our integration with Canvas. We are working really hard to build this Badgr platform, and it's very exciting to have a premier partner like Instructure and to build this integration. We think what we have to show you today is a really nice experience for awarding portable credentials within the Canvas Learning Management System. So a little bit about me already. I was just introduced. Thanks for the nice introduction. I am Director of Open Badges projects at Concentric Sky. Badgr is the core of those projects. I also wear another hat as Director of the Badge Alliance, which is the international standards body and community hub for the Open Badges specification. I'll tell you a little bit about that, but the core of our presentation today is about the Badgr software platform and how it integrates with Canvas to do automatic badge issuing in your courses. I identify as a lifelong learner. I think we all are lifelong learners. But I also do software development and a lot of deep thinking about how credentials can be used in the world and how people represent themselves using records of what they've accomplished and the trustworthy relationships they have with other people. So you can contact me directly either through Concentric Sky or Autonomy on Twitter. Concentric Sky, I'll tell you a little bit about us. We are a high-end web, mobile, and enterprise software development company located in Eugene, Oregon. We are, as we mentioned, we're partners with Instructure. Really glad to have that new partnership this year. But we've also done work with a whole bunch of other organizations that we really like working with, pushing the envelope on advances in education and building great software solutions for mobile devices, for the web, and then also enterprise level systems for large-scale data analysis. To learn more about what we are learning about in education. So let me talk a little bit about Badgr. Badgr, the whole point of the application is to bring portable, verifiable credentials right to your fingertips. And one of the great places to make this possible is, within the Canvas Learning Management System. We want to bring verifiable credentials into the workflow and the regular lives of the organizations we work with. And so to that end, we are fully compliant with the Open Badges spec, which we believe is the best common language for information about learning achievements. So you may be familiar with digital badges from perhaps gaming achievement systems is one place people often get their first exposure to a digital badge, which is just a visual image file that can move around online. It corresponds or symbolizes an achievement that one has made. And Open Badges apply this technology to learning, and they really take it one step farther by coming up with a collaborative specification for embedding data about a learning accomplishment within an image file so that it's portable between systems and that it has real-time verifiability. Any consumer who understands the Open Badges specification can at any time check the validity of a badge awarded to an individual by checking back with the original issuer to see that it was awarded to the account they expect and that it has not been revoked. Take a little bit deeper look at an Open Badge. They really, they're not just image files. They contain rich information about the achievement that they symbolize. So there's a name and a description, you can see at the top of the slide, and then links to criteria to describe exactly what it took to earn this badge, as well as the possibility of adding evidence where you can show exactly the work that an individual did in order to meet the criteria and earn the badge. And so it's this power to link back out to the world of the value that we understand in terms of the skills that are valued in the workplace and within educational institutions. That really gives badges their power, along with this real-time verifiability and the portability that allows people to sort of bring them between systems. But badges are a very flexible type of a vehicle for information about achievements. They can recognize many different types of learning across someone's lifelong learning journey. Core to these are skills and competencies, but they can also describe, experiences, interests, and, engagement, patterns of engagement you have within a discipline. And you can really tell a rich story about your achievement and, engagement across many different contexts of your life, formal and informal education, and across a long time span, showing progression from high school learning, maybe in after-school clubs, through competencies and skills recognized as part of your college courses, maybe into the workforce, recognizing the development and professional development that you do in that environment. So we can take a look real quick at how credentials currently exist in online courses. So we're talking about the Canvas learning management system here, similar to many other learning management locations online. And so think about where the data about that learning ends up and how the learners can, what artifacts they have to take that and transmit or, talk about their achievements with others. And so usually what you see data about course achievements, they come in the form of school transcripts that eventually get wrapped up into degrees, and you can share these, degrees sort of, once you've got them, very long after you've actually completed an individual online course. And then we also see some innovations in the space. So like, this certificate here was issued by the edX platform, which is another partner of Badgr. They issue certificates in PDF format for completion of courses, and they set up their own little mechanism of there's a verification URL where you can send this link to someone, they can go back and check and make sure that this certificate is authentic. But recognizing that this is not quite portable enough between systems, edX decided to partner with Badgr in order to also attach an open badge to the completion of a course event, so that students immediately after completing a course, they can take that badge out and share it with others, bringing their records together from different places that they've, accomplished learning. Badges, though, open badges have a lot more potential than just, recognizing the completion of this large thing, the course that you may have spent 10 or 16 weeks going through. They are very granular, and you can go dig down to the, very individual accomplishment about what someone did in the course, and they're stackable. So that individuals who have earned badges, even within one course, can take a slice of those badges and just talk about a little bit of the experience that's relevant to a specific audience, perhaps combining them with badges that they've earned from other locations, and bringing them together to provide exactly a picture of their learning that they need to present, maybe to unlock a specific opportunity like an internship or a job. The Open Badges specification makes these certifications portable so that they can bring them into Badgr or any of the other software out there in the ecosystem that accepts Open Badges. And so two notable applications besides Badgr are the Mozilla Open Badges Backpack and the Open Badge Passport, applications that will take in badges from anywhere that's issued them and allow earners to organize them into those representations they can share back out with specific audiences. And they're also, verifiable and real-time. As soon as a learner has earned a badge, as a component of the course, they don't have to wait until they've finished the entire course to make use of that artifact. They can turn around and start sharing it with their partners and collaborators right away and benefit from that real-time verification that the badges provide. So the whole goal for badges is to allow learners to give a complete picture of who they are and what their experience is, even as they move between many different contexts. And they can really, tell a story of what their lifelong learning experience is to really indicate how they are, suitable for various different positions and opportunities. Take what they've learned in one online course or combine it with what they've learned somewhere else and turn that back into some kind of real-world opportunity like college admission, grad school admission, a new internship, or perhaps a new job. So let me talk a little bit about the Badgr platform that we've developed. We feel that Badgr is sort of this one-stop shop for everything that a badge user, either an issuer, an earner, or a consumer needs to do or needs to, engage with badges in order to access all this value, portable shareability. And so it's an open source badge platform that we have released for free on GitHub, but we also host in a very high availability cluster ourselves, where free accounts can get started right away to get started collecting badges they've earned and issuing badges to their collaborators and learners who have engaged with them in their programs. Badgr open source or hosted by Concentric Sky, and every user in the system can both issue and earn badges. Issue as profiles they establish and organize the badges they've earned. I'll show you in a moment a live demo. Badgr is really easy to use. You can get started either as an earner or as an issuer in less than 5 minutes. And what we're really excited to talk about today is this integration with Canvas and automatic badge issuing for achievements in courses as students move right through them, and the ability to view students' progress in terms of the learning claims you're making about them, the progress students are making through the achievements that are defined for a particular course, and you can watch that and verify it and export it all in real time. And students have the option to share their badges directly to LinkedIn and Facebook, as well as save them to take them into any platform that understands open badges directly. So now we're going to spin up a live demo here to show you that adding badges to Canvas with Badgr is real easy. The first step really is just to get a site-wide developer key, and then once you do that, it's about as easy as you can get for an LTI app integration. We'll show you how to add that integration, and then how to configure your badges for use in a course, and then how an instructor will award badges automatically. Watch those being awarded as students progress through the course, and then how both instructors and students can view the progress that students are making through those different achievements. So I'm going to switch over here to a window where we have a Canvas course set up. And so I have a demo course here that I can show you a little bit. A lot of you are probably very familiar with setting up a course in Canvas and the various capabilities that are provided there. But what I want to draw your attention to particularly is the modules session. And so this course here, this is a quick little course about American civics designed for a high school audience. And so we're taking students through a road to the Revolutionary War, understanding of the Declaration, up through understanding their rights. And this course, you could imagine, could expand into several more units, but having these 5 will really let us see at a small level what's happening as we set it up to issue badges automatically in the course. And so I will click through a couple of these other tabs, and so to show you that we've got a little demo of a full course set up here. I'm going to click over to the Assignments tab, and you can see that there are 3 assignments and 2 quizzes set up. Click into the People tab to see the students that have been added to the course, and we see that we have roughly about 50 students who've been added to the course. And they'll be our demo users for this webinar here. And then I'll jump back here over to the modules to show 3 specific things that are sort of prerequisites for getting started with Badgr. Each badge is going to be automatically issued for modules that you choose should be associated with a badge achievement in the course. And in order to make sure that badges are issued, the module must be published. So the little green cloud here shows that this first module is published. They must have completion requirements set. And so this for this first module, the assignment that's attached to the module is this Understand Revolutionary Reasoning text submission assignment, which has a possible score of 10, and the completion requirement for this module is that students must score at least a 6 on this assignment, and then they'll be marked as complete in the module. So the module is published, the assignment is published, and there are completion requirements set for this module. And the same is true for the other 4 modules in the course. So that means we are ready to set up Badgr for issuing badges automatically as students sort of move through this course. And so, as I mentioned, it's a very easy LTI integration. We will jump over here to the settings section of the course where you go to add LTI integrations. And any user, now that we've had our Canvas administrator set up a connection to Badgr.io, the high availability cluster that can concentric sky hosts Badgr on, we can add a Badgr integration to any course in the whole instance, the whole Canvas server. So as logged in as an instructor user here, I have the privileges to add an application. But in order to do so, this user needs a Badgr account. So I'm going to head over here to Badgr.io and log into an account that I have set up for this purpose. So log in, and you can see some badges that I have earned and uploaded to the system that I can share. But I'm going to jump over here in my user settings to the LTI info so I can get my consumer key, shared secret, and configuration URL that I can paste right back into that LTI app section in my Canvas course. So I'm going to copy these three values over, switching back and forth between the tabs. And of course, we don't need to fill out all these different fields. We can go to the very easiest configuration option that we got, which is the add by URL option. So I'll give it a little bit of a name. I'll call it Badgr so that I can tell what I'm doing, and paste in that configuration URL. Switch back over to Badgr to get my consumer key. And my shared secret. So paste that right in there. Submit that, and now you'll see Badgr has been added. Once we refresh the page, which I'll do right now, you can see in the side navigation, a new tab has been added to the course showing badges. And so logged in as the teacher, the next step here is to go to the Badges tab and configure which badges will be attached to the various different modules that we have in the course. In order to issue badges, you need to have an issuer profile set up. And an issuer profile is simply you have a name for the organization that you wish to issue badges as, a description, a website URL, as well as a contact email for that service. And then you have the option of adding a logo for your issuer so that it can be easily distinguished. I've set an issuer up here already, and I'm going to select it for American Civics 2015 here. So I'll select to use this issuer profile for the course. And I set that up to be sort of just a description of an issuer that would correspond just to this course. But of course, the badges issuer can be whatever organization you want to be recorded as sort of the issuer of record for the course. And in this case, I chose to define an issuer profile very, very granular level to this course. But of course, the profile could represent the instructor themselves, or at a higher level, the department they work under, or the entire institution itself could be the issuer of record for the course. Whatever you want to make as the learning plan, as the organization asserting the learning plan. So when I select American Civics 2015, I can come back to a list of the modules that have been defined in that course. And with each module, I have the option to assign a badge to that module. And for any module that I decide to assign a badge to, there will be a automatic badge issuing will be set up for that module as students fulfill the completion requirements. So for this first one, I've preloaded a couple badges into the system. So in the Build Up to Revolution module, I'm going to award a badge called the Sons of Liberty member. And if I look into that badge, it has criteria and a description, saying to show that you understand why the colonists felt war was the only answer. And then once you get past that unit, we're talking about the Declaration of Independence. So we've defined a badge called Master Complainer to illustrate making complaints to the Crown. For the third module, we've also defined one talking about the Revolutionary War. This badge is called Revolutionary, so we'll assign that there. For the fourth module, we had a badge here defined. I think that I'll demonstrate how really easy it is to just define a brand new badge right from this screen. All you need to know is a name, a description, enter some criteria, either as a URL link to your website where criteria is defined, or as text that we'll host for you right on Badgr. And then you need an image to be associated with that badge. So we're going to define a badge called Constitutional Knower, whose description is that you should demonstrate knowledge of the Constitution. And for the criteria, we'll decide to host these on Badgr itself. So we'll set criteria as submit the assignment demonstrating knowledge of the U.S. Constitution. And so for each of the badges that you choose to associate with your modules, you're making a learning claim about the students who have completed those modules. So when you design the module, you have to think about what is it that I'm trying to say about a student who has met these completion requirements. And then when you set those requirements properly, you can you define your badge to mirror what learning claim you're making about those students. And in the future, we will integrate some more interesting and varied possibilities for rules to decide when badges should be automatically issued. But for the meantime, we feel that Canvas's very expressive module ownership system is a really great way to start because through the completion requirements and setting it, instructors have a very rich ability to make sure that those modules correspond to all sorts of different learning claims they could be making about the students. And so for this badge, I have the benefit of having a designer who has generated a badge image for me talking about the Constitution. So we will set this constitutional image to the badge and create the badge there. So submitted that badge, it has been created and attached to this module. For the fifth badge, perhaps my designer got tired. We don't have a badge image for this badge, but we need to award a badge for students who have successfully completed the Bill of Rights quiz. So we'll create a badge called Rights Junkie and description of know the Bill of Rights. We'll fill out some information there. And as I mentioned, we don't have a image design for this one, but that's all right. Badgr allows a simple graphics editor where we can jump in and define the image that we'd like to use for the badge. You can choose between several different shapes to start out, and then also, you can pick colors and backgrounds. That's kind of an ugly green there. I think I probably want to go with a fairly pleasant blue. And we can set an image that we like on the badge from a small library. In the future, the library of images will be expanding to include many more icons and user uploadable icons as well. And then we will also add the ability to add text banners to the badges. Lots of opportunities to expand this to give you a really rich image editing experience. But for the meantime, we can set some nice simple images very quickly with our badge. So I'll set an image of a Liberty Bell before it was cracked to the Rights Junkie and submit that badge so that it is then attached to the image. Cool. And so the next step is to start automatically awarding badges to the students. And so in order to demonstrate that, I'm going to jump over to the Grades tab in the course navigation to show that we have empty grade book here, but we can watch as students start progressing through the course. So this first student in the list, whose name is hopefully Test Student 2, has completed the first couple assignments and the first quiz, earning, and if we recall from our module completion requirements, that these grades that I'm entering will indeed fulfill the module completion for the first 3 modules. So in addition, I'll set some other grades for some other students who are starting to work their way through the course. And then we can go back and take a look as these badges are awarded. So those grades are set. Let's jump back into the course and verify in our modules section. I just flipped over to modules. We can view students' progress, and I'll select that first student. Recall that a moment ago I entered grades for the first 3 out of 5 assignments, and indeed those grades were satisfactory. Canvas records this student as having those 3 modules completed. So when I jump back into the Badges tab, you'll notice that in the top right corner, I'll jump right back to my objective screen first of all, but as a teacher I have an option to view progress of my students across the course. And so right now at the bottom there's a little spinner. It's checking for new badges that should be awarded. And once it's gone through checking all 53 students in the course, it will decide to which badges need to be awarded, award those badges, create the metadata and bake them into image files, and then it'll come back and tell me that, look, here we are, a bunch of badges have been awarded. And as we expected, the first student in the list, test student 2, has indeed earned the 3 badges we expected. If I don't see the student that I am trying to find information on, I can search for them by name up in the little search box and narrowing it down to just that student. And if I'd like to browse to the second page of the list, this one shows roughly the first, 35 students. We can jump to the second page, upon which it'll check for whether new badges need to be awarded by students who are on that page. But we didn't enter any grades for those students, so nothing to do there. We just have badges for these first several students. Cool. So when you, as a teacher, you have a couple more options here. You can look at the detail for an individual badge. Note that teacher users in this install of Canvas do not have privileges to see a student's email address, so they just see the student's name that they're signed up under for that course under the recipient field. But they see more detail about the module that this badge was attached to, the criteria that they had set for the badge, and they have an option to notify the student by email. There, of course, is another option to revoke the badge. So in the unfortunate or rare case that you find a student may have cheated or broken the code of conduct and you need to revoke their badge, you can do so right here. But if you do so, make sure you change their grades in the gradebook first so that they don't re-earn the badge as soon as you've done it. So that's our options from the teacher's perspective, and the only other thing to point out here is that teachers have the ability to export this course data as CSV, and they can be emailed a spreadsheet with the information about when students in their course have earned all those badges. So one other thing to show you then is what this looks like from the student perspective. And so I have another window here where a student, you can see in the top right corner, logged in. This is test student 2, in fact, the first one from our list that we saw a moment ago. And if we look in test student 2's course list, we can see the American Civics 2015 course that he or she engaged in. You can see Grades tab, new notification of earned grades for some of the assignments. And if we click into the modules, we can see that 3 modules are listed as completed for the student. So student has no configuration to enter at all in order to be able to use badges. They just get to click over into the Badges tab on their navigation. And from within that Badges tab, they get to see the representation of their learning pathway through the course. And so you see, this shows the 3 badges they've earned, as well as the details about the 2 badges that they haven't yet earned. The idea of this page is to show, what their progress is through the course, where they are now and where they have to go the rest of the course. So they could click in and get information about the individual modules or information about the individual badge. And as a student, they have the rights to see their own email address, so they can take a look at what profile they earned that badge under, which is their email address they're signed up for Canvas for, and they have options to share on these social media platforms, such as LinkedIn. You could pop open a LinkedIn window in which you can compose an update about how you earned a badge, or do the same for Facebook. And badges may also be exported anywhere open badges are accepted by saving the image and uploading it to that platform, whether that's an account on Badgr itself or on perhaps the Mozilla Backpack or the Open Badges Passport, any other application that accepts badges. Cool. So here's the idea. This is the student's progress through this course. They've earned 3 badges so far. There's 2 more left to go, and as they complete more assignments, they'll have a chance to earn those badges as well if they get adequate grades. So one other spot where Badgr shows up in the course is, or not in the course, but in the student's experience of Canvas, is within their own profile. Students are often enrolled in multiple courses on Canvas at once, and we hope that many of those courses use badges to some degree. And so I'll show you what this looks like on the student's profile page. They can go to their own private profile to get a sense of all the badges they've earned across all the different courses that they've participated in on this Canvas server. And so you can see, if I click in to this course, you can see the 3 badges that they just earned in the American Civics 2015 course. And you can imagine that this test user, they had taken a previous course, maybe middle school level American Civics, and had earned 4 badges in that course, about Tea and Stamp Act, a little bit about the early knowledge of the Revolution, and they can see how their badges connect from one course to another. So cool. So that's the features of our Canvas integration with Badgr. I am glad to announce that this is available for anyone who has a Canvas server running to integrate right away, either by downloading our open source package or by integrating directly with our hosted option on Badgr.io. Or if you're ready to jump in and start using badges in your courses, we can help you get started right away. Feel free to contact us at this email address. Cool. So hand it back to Dave. Thanks for inviting us.
Awesome. Thanks, Nate. We have a lot of questions that came in, so we'll just dive right into those and try and get through as many as we can before time runs out. So first question, how do we get a site-wide developer key?
Cool. So site-wide developer key, I did mention that that is the sort of integration requirement. Badgr has to use the teacher's credentials to make API calls to the Canvas server, and so we need that developer key in order to sign those requests properly so that Canvas trusts Badgr. So for every installation of Canvas, whether it is hosted by Instructure or hosted by the IT staff at your own institution, contact that administrator and they can create the key from the administrator account. If you need help, feel free to contact us and we can help you get started. It's a really simple process to fill out a little form and send us the key over an encrypted channel, and we add it to our software, and then we're able to make it so that any teacher on the platform can add badges to their courses.
Excellent. Okay, next question, can Badgr be installed at the sub-account level?
Feel free to connect me with this person directly. We will connect our technical development staff to answer that question exactly. So you can install Badgr, I know, at the course level and then also at the site-wide level in order to enable that student profile where they view the badges across all their courses. But I'm not quite sure on sub-accounts, but I can look into that and get back to this individual user.
Okay.
One thing to note is that multiple teachers can be added to the same course, and as long as the first teacher that has set up the integration has their Badgr account and fills in the LTI info, any of the other instructors in the course who are in that teacher role can view the badges and access the course with the same privileges as the teacher who set it up.
Okay. Next question was, can you manually assign badges?
Yeah, so badges can be manually assigned. I did show you the Badgr features from what we call the Badgr UI, which is if you go to badgr.io and create your account there, that's where you get your LTI configuration information. There's a full-featured set of issuing tools there where you can define those different issuer profiles that you'd like to have represent your organization, define all the different badge classes you'd like using images that you have on that you built yourself or worked with a designer to create, or using Badge Studio, and you can award those badges to any number of email addresses there. At that level, you do need to know the the email address that you'd like to award the badge to. But you can indeed award those badges to those students and notify them by email that they've gotten a manual badge. And we're, of course, interested in talking with Canvas users to figure out all the other different use cases for when badges should be awarded in association with a course, and really build out that feature set. So we're working with Instructure right now to set up an advisory panel on how badges should best be used with Canvas and really explore those possibilities. And so I think you should look forward to, in the coming year, a bunch of new features about, to really expand this integration.
Great. Okay, and then someone asked, how can I access my badges or use my badges outside of Canvas or after Canvas?
So I'm going to take this question and sort of in two different directions. One, as the earner of the badges, in order to take them out of Canvas, all you have to do is go to the student profile where you have either that view of all the badges you've earned across all your different courses, or within one course you can go to that badges tab and view your learning pathway through that course. And from there, these open badges are portable, verifiable credentials. You can just save that image file to your desktop and then put it anywhere that you would like to share your badge. But the best experiences for sharing badges, of course, are with a platform that understands badges, so you can put them into your account on Badgr.io or any other open source installation of the Badgr software, or any other software that understands badges, like the Mozilla Backpack or the Open Badge Passport. And then from there, generate collections and share them out with badges that you've earned elsewhere. Embed them on your blogs or websites, share them through social media, send them by email, and include them in things like resumes to access those real-world opportunities. And of course, the second sort of way to take that direction is that instructors who have defined those badges and are the issuer of them, they can issue those badges for achievements outside of the course as well. So when they log into their Badgr control panel, they will see those badges available, ready to send, and they can award those to anyone that they know the email address for.
Okay, we've had a couple questions regarding Mozilla Open Badges and how Badgr badges can be used in conjunction with that. Maybe you could reiterate on that.
Cool, sounds good. So all the badges that are issued by Badgr are fully compliant with the Open Badges specification, which was originally developed by Mozilla, and so they can be added to that Mozilla Open Badges backpack as one place to go put your badges. And in the future, we'll streamline our export process and add many more options for where students can go share those badges directly, as well as building more integrated experience for students who already have a account on Badgr.io in order for them to allow them to log into that account and right within Canvas and doing all the full range of activity around organizing those badges into documents that share their learning pathway, and doing a full range of sharing beyond just the LinkedIn and Facebook buttons and Open Badge export that are available in the integration today.
Okay. We have a couple more questions regarding dependencies and whether badges can be built upon other badges and tied to other badges. So maybe you could expound on that a little bit as well.
On the question of dependencies, do you think you could read out the full text of that question?
Yeah, it says, what type of dependencies can you add to a badge? Can they be tied to outcomes or build on other badges?
Cool, excellent question. And so right now, as of this first integration that we're launching now, badges are tied to module completion, as you saw. And within Canvas's system of module completion, you can set dependencies and you can set prerequisites for those modules and requirements for students to move through different activities in a sequential order in order to earn those badges. And so just make sure for using badges in this initial integration that you set your modules to exactly the requirements that you would like to enforce as far as earning badges. And we thought this would be like a really good entry experience for getting started in a easily understandable way, and then it would be a platform that we could expand on to come up with all sorts of other interesting rules for how badges should be issued, and make sure that we have a really good user experience around this to get started, and then expand to have an even richer and more powerful set of use cases for those instructors. And so I definitely think that having the ability to set more rich dependencies and prerequisites and to show how badges fit together a little better is a great next step. We'll be pursuing this with our Instructure Advisory Panel, and then also the Badge Alliance, which I mentioned, sort of the community hub for all the different organizations using open badges, really drives these discussions on how badges connect to one another and how they can be understood in the marketplace. And so if you're interested in participating in those conversations, all the Badge Alliance conversations are open to the public, and you can come in and join on our mailing lists, regularly scheduled conference calls, and specific topical work sessions on these questions about how badges connect, how we can talk about in a shareable way what those connections are between badges, and whether there are complicated requirements that position one badge as a prerequisite for another. Cool. And then, Dave, there was a second second question that you'd like me to touch on. Could you remind me?
Yeah. So can they be tied to outcomes or built on top of other badges?
Cool. So a good two-part question, really excellent. Outcomes, we're really excited to start working with the outcomes system within Canvas. And so if you have specific use cases for outcomes that you'd love to talk to us about so that we can be sure to support them and really work with you and people who want to use that outcome system so that we understand it well enough to build the perfect integration, I'd love for you to get in contact with us at that email address on your screen. Come talk to us and about the use case that you've got for using outcomes, and as we build out that feature, we'll make sure that we've got a really good chance of supporting what you want to do with that system. Because like where we really want to go with badges, and you saw the very beginning of this in the student profile view, showing how these badges connect across courses. Let's see if we can tie these to outcomes that are shared at the institutional level or within a discipline or a community. Even adopting some outcomes from the workforce sector itself. Well, let's award some badges that actually have real world value in terms of acceptance within the workplace, and then associate those with outcomes and show how badges earned in one course can apply toward that outcome, and bring them in, enhance their visibility within other courses. One thing that I think has a lot of promise in the world of badges is for instructors to be able to vary their instruction, do interventions, and really customize the experience in their classroom, whether it's online or in person, based on the previous experience of all the students that are involved. And a great way to understand the experience of those students is to let them share badges with you and see, what did they do in previous classes and how does it align with what we're doing here. If someone has a head start on the work, maybe they get to lead a group instead of being distributed unevenly, and instructors can really use that sort of data to improve how they operate in the classroom beyond just providing this useful credential to to individual students. They can really turn it around and make it part of how they operate in a two-directional data flow. And we're really excited to explore possibilities like that.
Okay. There's a couple more questions here that probably go together. One says, can students see other students' badges? And then there's been a couple questions regarding leaderboards, if there's any plans for leaderboards.
Cool. Great questions. Great questions. Right now, there is no automatic sharing of badges between students in a course, and there's no leaderboard feature that's integrated already. But those are interesting features to consider in the future. But what we really want to consider as we build something like that out is that badges represent this is a piece of data, an artifact about a student's learning journey that's really under their own control. And they can, take that artifact and they can share it with just the audiences that they would like to share with. And so we want to be able to, as we even build out interesting features like, being able to socialize with regard to badges within a course, with your peers, we want to make sure that those students really have that fine-grained control over, what happens with the badges that they've earned. And so that's a, a core value. But as we do so, we'd like to, really, help the students engage with another over the material. And I think there's a lot of potential there. So like I told the person about the outcomes feature previously, we'd love to talk with you about, how you'd like to see that feature made, and like whether you have made previous use of leaderboards in courses using different integrations, and whether there's good models to follow or other partners that we should consider working with. Thanks for asking.
Great. Next question: can badges be linked to other LTI applications? For example, the completion of a quiz completed in another LTI application.
Cool. So Badgr interacts directly with the Canvas LMS, and so we don't have, LTI doesn't allow us to interact directly with content that someone else has enabled, but through our integration with Canvas, we can actually have a pretty rich, we can award badges based on things that happen in those other things, those other LTI integrations, as long as the instructor uses the the module completion settings appropriately to make sure that the learning claims are set up to correspond exactly how they want. So if they've got an LTI integration that provides some kind of external assessment within one module, as soon as that module is completed, Badgr will still award a badge on it. And so I think that's probably the most promising model for the near future for the integration. And I think that the designers of the LTI spec did a pretty good job in figuring out how the LMS and the tool providers would be able to interact kind of like that without actually needing to talk directly, and create a a three-way integration between multiple providers that would really get out of hand in terms of complexity.
Okay, it looks like we probably have time for a couple more questions. Are there any measures in place to prevent students from creating an issuer profile?
So I demoed an integration with our hosted badge platform, and the hosted badge platform allows any user who goes there to Badgr.io and creates an account to serve in both an issuer and an earner role. And that means that maybe some of your students on your course have Badgr.io profiles, and on those profiles maybe they are setting up their own issuers. They don't have privileges to issue badges automatically in Canvas courses, so you're not going to be able to access that part of the experience as a student. But if you'd like to, make full use of badges, the ecosystem is wide open for you to do so. And so, make sure you set up an organization that accurately corresponds to, who you are as a, as a issuer, because otherwise your badges will not be trustworthy. And, we're going to be on the leading edge of integrating, various different trust technologies into the badges ecosystem, including the, forthcoming endorsement work. As many different issuers spin up, it's an open ecosystem. It is possible for bad actors to issue badges, for, claiming grandiose things about the earners, but not actually enforcing any standards. And so one of the most important things that we're going to start to see in the next couple of years is that there'll be indications of why you should trust a badge embedded in these badge-aware platforms right along with the achievement itself. So that if students are spinning up issuers and just, saying that everyone is certified as PhD, mathematics candidates, those badges will easily be weeded out as untrustworthy, because the institutions who are issuing the trustworthy badges will have, dozens of credible endorsements from other organizations. We'll really sort of start building that web of trust with badges. And, open badges are a great technology to do that with. because there's a great collaborative ecosystem around building software that works together and getting many different organizations across the world, both content and learning providers and assessors and accreditors, as well as software development companies like Concentric Sky and other partners in the Badgr Alliance. We're building the solutions that will allow us to understand an individual's credentials on a much richer level than we've been able to, even with existing credentials like transcripts, where there's a wide variation between different university degrees from different institutions, and we want to be able to make sure that you have the tools to figure out what the value of those credentials are, based on whether they're trusted by the folks that you trust to have a valid opinion there. So yes, we on Badgr.io we do not lock down our accounts at all as far as students being able to issue badges, but we on other open source installs of Badgr software, there is an option to do that, lockdowns that you could only have, approved issuer profiles there, but always in the Open Badges ecosystem, anyone can get started issuing badges. And the real question is, whether they are trusted by the right people to issue the badges that they're claiming about people.
Great, and we've had a few questions regarding the recording of the webinar. So I'll just wrap it up with that. The webinar has been recorded and it will be posted to our partner webinar archive. All the attendees today will receive an email with a link to that recording once it has been posted to the webinar archive, so you can review the information that's been shared today or pass it along to your colleagues and friends. If your question wasn't answered, if we didn't have time to get to it, we apologize for that. We've had a lot of people attend the webinar today. Reach out to that email address that you can see on the screen, or you can contact us here at partners@instructure.com, and we're happy to field any questions that might be appropriate for us. So thanks again, everybody, for attending, and a special thanks to Nate for presenting today, and have a great afternoon.